Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. This is Rock and Roll Spot coming at you with a weekly TV roundup. We're going to kick things off with the last week's episode of Arrow, which opens with Ra's explaining to Ollie why he must destroy Starling City to sever all ties to his old life, as well as how he came into possession of the Alpha Omega virus. It was offered to him by Maceo to let him join the League. In Starling, Diggle loses control briefly while beating the hell out of a gang member. He actually admits that yes, he is mad. He's not denying this fact. Thea is planning to go after Roy, though Merlin tries to talk her out of it. Back in Nanda Parbat, Ollie leaves his betrothal dinner to clear his mind. During his walk, a League member attacks him and is revealed to be none other than Malcolm Merlin. It is also revealed at this point that Ollie joining the League was all part of a plan of Merlin and Ollie's to destroy the League from within. However, Ra's plan is moving faster than Merlin anticipated. Thea tracks down Roy, and the two talk about him faking his death and, well, basically just catch up, really. Ollie and Maceo discuss the virus as well as the future, but the virus is more a case of when he came into possession of it, to give it to Ra's, which was actually before his son started showing symptoms. And then also, Ollie offers to release him from his oath when he becomes Ra's al Ghul. Merlin tells Team Arrow about his and Ollie's plan, bringing in Tatsu to vouch for him and to explain the virus. Merlin then explains that they leave from Nanda Parbat in the morning. Thea gives Roy his Arsenal costume and the two spend the night together. Nyssa refuses to marry Ollie once again. Team Arrow prepares to leave with Merlin and Tatsu, who seems to be bringing a costume of her own. Upon arriving in Nanda Parbat, they are attacked by the League. Felicity is unable to ground the plane they believe to be carrying the virus, as her tablet takes an arrow. Ray manages to stop the plane, however, as she asks him for a favor, and I should add that in return she took control of the company, though she doesn't entirely know that yet. Maceo and Tatsu have a sword fight, with Tatsu emerging victorious. However, Ra's reveals that the plane Ray stopped was actually a decoy, and then takes Team Arrow prisoner. Merlin informs Ra's that Ollie has been playing him all along. Ra's, not being too happy, has Team Arrow exposed to the virus, except for Tatsu, who was previously inoculated. During the wedding of Ollie to Nyssa, Team Arrow appears to, well, die. Roy goes back on the run, leaving Thea a note as well as his costume explaining why he's going back on the run, as well as the fact that he always felt red was more her color than his. The episode's flashback. As the virus ravages Hong Kong, Ollie and Maceo search for a cure. Upon finding General Shreve, they bring him and what he claims is a cure to where Tatsu is with Akio. Tatsu, however, informs Maceo when they get there that Akio is dead. Then Shreve reveals that the cure that Ollie and Maceo took is actually his insulin, and that there is no cure to the Alpha Omega virus. Moving on to this week's episode of Flash. Opens with Wells Thawne monologuing to Eddie about some of the various things in life. After a brief talk with Iris, Barry is called away to Star Labs as Cisco has found a rather powerful battery in Wells/Thawne's wheelchair, and it's postulated that this battery is why Wells/Thawne is so much faster than Barry. Barry realizes that Wells/Thawne is hiding in the particle accelerator once it begins to be reactivated. When they open up the particle accelerator, Wells/Thawne runs out with Barry giving chase after letting Peekaboo out, who takes Joe and Cisco down before trying to kill Caitlin, only to be saved by Iris. Barry tries to catch Wells/Thawne, but still can't catch up. Back at Star Labs, the team finds Eddie underneath the particle accelerator. While talking with Eddie, they realize that Wells/Dawn has installed a futuristic power source to reactivate the particle accelerator, putting the metahuman prisoners' lives at risk. Barry decides to have the prisoners moved to Lian-Yu, as it would be safer for them, and they will be out of the way of the particle accelerator going off. Though the only protection he can manage to get for said prisoners is Captain Cold, who agrees to help in exchange for having his entire history, which everything about him, anywhere, destroyed, deleted, whatever. Cisco manages to come up with a way to get the prisoners to a rendezvous with an Argus jet at an abandoned Ferris airfield. It's actually explained that the airfield is abandoned as after Ferris Air had a test pilot vanish. Could that test pilot possibly have the last name Jordan? Hopefully we'll find out sometime. However, Cold double crosses the crew and, along with his sister, whom Cisco dubs Golden Glider, sabotages the truck and frees the prisoners, except for Deathbolt, whom he kills as Deathbolt owed him money, with the intent of recruiting them into his group of rogues. Eddie breaks up with Iris based on what Wells/Dawn told him about the future. As the particle accelerator reactivates, Wells/Dawn arrives at Star Labs and is met outside by Barry. While they talk, reinforcements for Barry arrive in the form of Firestorm and the Arrow. While Barry and Wells/Dawn fight, Firestorm and Arrow manage to help Barry take Wells/Dawn down, though it's not easy. And that's pretty much where the episode ends. Also, it should be noted that Arrow makes a point of asking Barry that for a favor later on down the road, and to which Barry says anytime, anywhere. Moving on to the season finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Opens with Skye reaching Jiang as she collapses and tells Skye that Gonzalez shot her after saying that the humans should be wiped out. Gordon takes over one of the Quinjets and fires a missile on Afterlife, exacerbating things between Skye and S.H.I.E.L.D., leading to a fight, in fact, between Skye and May, which Skye actually wins. Hunter and Fitz try to find Bobby in her Quinjet. Skye and Raina talk, though Skye seems unwilling to listen to what Raina has to say. Jiang absorbs the life force of a captured S.H.I.E.L.D. agent to heal her wound. Fitz and Hunter discover that Bobby left with Agent 33 and not May. Ward begins torturing Bobby to give Agent 33 some closure as her time with Hydra. S.H.I.E.L.D. makes various contingency plans concerning the Inhumans, especially after their means of tracking Gordon is destroyed. Jiang kills Raina and then argues with Skye over Jiang's actions until Skye is knocked out herself by Jiang. Coulson interrogates Cal, who reveals that he means that the vials that were found on him he took, and that he means to kill as many S.H.I.E.L.D. agents as he possibly can. Eventually, Coulson manages to talk him down, convincing him to think of his daughter's safety as opposed to revenge or anything like such as that. Hunter and May find Bobby and 33's Quinjet beacon. Find where Bobby and 33's Quinjet beacon was turned off, while Grant continues torturing Bobby, who tries to escape but is foiled by Ward and 33. Jiang, having overtaken Gonzalez's carrier, has the S.H.I.E.L.D. beacon expanded so that it's now on all channels, basically calling all S.H.I.E.L.D. agents to the carrier. Hunter finds Bobby, but however, it's a trap, and Bobby springs it so that Hunter doesn't get shot, but in the process, Bobby takes a bullet from the back. Ward runs into 33, who's using her mask, and shoots her, believing her to be May. As she dies, the mask deactivates and he realizes the mistake he's made. Skye and Lincoln discuss the Shield/Inhuman situation, and Mac knocks Lincoln out, just as Skye was trying to get through him too. Coulson leads the effort to retake the carrier, bringing Cal along, who means to stop Jiang and rescue Skye. Mac and Coulson take on Gordon with an assist from a new gadget of Fitz's that basically keeps Gordon from teleporting out of a room. Skye catches up with Jiang and tries to stop her, only for Jiang to try and steal Skye's life force. However, Skye manages to knock the Quinjet with the artificial crystals in it off the carrier's flight deck and into the ocean. The fight between Gordon, Mac, and Coulson ends abruptly with Fitz impaling Gordon. As he dies, he drops one of the crystals, which Coulson catches, leading to his hand beginning to petrify. Mac cuts it off, saving Coulson's life. Cal kills Jiang to save Skye. Ward declares himself the new leader of Hydra. Cal gets his memory wiped and set up with a brand new life where he runs a veterinary clinic. Coulson and Skye begin forming a secret team of powered operatives. And finally, Simmons, shortly after accepting Fitz's invitation of a date, is sucked into the Kree weapon that was in the carrier. And the artificial crystals dissipate in the ocean and end up ground into fish oil pills. Wonder how that might turn out. And now, moving on to this week's episode of Game of Thrones. Opens with Grey Worm being washed over by Missandei, and Daenerys standing vigil over Ser Barristan. Daenerys then takes the heads of the great families to Meereen, to where Dracarys and Viserion are in an effort to stop the Sons of the Harpy. One of the great family heads is set on fire and then eaten by the two dragons. At the wall, Sam reads Maester Aemon a report of Daenerys' actions previously to what she most recently did, before Jon comes to Maester Aemon for advice. Aemon's advice is for Jon to kill the boy and let the man be born. Later, Jon asks Tormund Giantsbane to bring the wildlings south of the wall to stand with the Night's Watch. Tormund accepts so long as Jon comes with him to bring the wildlings south, basically to prove it's not a trick. That it's not a trick. The Watch, however, is not pleased with Jon's decision. Brienne makes plans to send a message to Sansa. Sansa is now informed that she still has allies in the north. Later, she's shown that Theon Greyjoy still lives and what's become of him. The next day, Ramsay makes Theon, Reek, apologize to Sansa for killing Bran and Rickon. Roose Bolton, Ramsay's father, announces that his wife, Walda Frey, is pregnant, and that it may well be a boy. Stannis and his entourage begin their march to Winterfell from the Wall. Grey Worm awakens, feeling responsible for the deaths of his men as well as Ser Barristan. He is comforted by Missandei, and the two, in fact, share a kiss before Missandei goes to counsel Daenerys, before she goes to Hizdahr, one of the heads of the great families, to inform him that she will reopen the fighting pits, and that she means to marry the leader of one of the great houses, most likely him. Jorah and Tyrion make their way to Meereen through Valyria and catch sight of Drogon before being attacked by the Stone Men. Tyrion is thrown overboard during the fight. Jorah brings Tyrion ashore and unshackles him. While going to procure more wood for a fire, Jorah discovers that he is showing the early signs of grayscale after the encounter with the Stone Men. And that is where the episode ends. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media. Links to Facebook and Twitter are in the description box down below. Rock and roll. We'll be back on Saturday with another marvelous May video. And as always, live long and rock hard.